My name is Tina Liu. I'm a landscape architect and the design manager of the Capital Floral Program at the National Capital Commission in Ottawa. Since the onset of COVID-19, the NCC has worked to provide public access to our assets while respecting public health directives. This has meant to avoid non-essential travel and exercising close to home. Local access to all NCC Park for users who can access on foot or by bike is permitted for limited activities only. Please be reminded that all parking lots and amenities remain closed. We are offering this Tulip Legacy garden tour to you so that you can enjoy the tulips in the comfort of your home. As the official gardener of the capital, the NCC manages 120 flower beds in the National Capital Region. You can find over 1 million tulips in bloom in our parks. Here I'm in Commissioners Park, the home of Canadian Tulip Festival. There are 26 planting beds of about 300,000 tulips in more than 60 different varieties planted here in a display stretching 1.2 kilometers long. This tulip bed at the Preston Street entrance of Commissioners Park is dedicated specifically to Queen Juliana of the Netherlands. This brings us to the story of the origin of Canadian Tulip Festival. During Princess Juliana's stay in Canada, preparations were made for the birth of her third child. To ensure Dutch citizenship of this royal baby, the Government of Canada made a special law declaring the birthing suite of Princess Juliana at the Ottawa Civic Hospital extraterritorial. On January 19, 1943, Princess Margaret was born, and it was the only time in Canadian history that a foreign flag was flying atop Peace Tower on Parliament Hill. It was the Dutch tricolor flag, and Dutch music was playing from the carillon. In 1945, Canadian forces played a pivotal role in the liberation of the Netherlands. Before the Allies moved in, Dutch civilians were desperate. Coordinated airdrops of food were staged by the Royal Canadian Air Force over German-occupied Dutch territory in Operation Manna. Civilians wrote, "Thank you, Canadians," on their rooftops in response. The royal family returned home safely in August 1945. In autumn, despite suffering from post-war scarcity, the royal family and people of the Netherlands sent a gift of 100,000 hand-picked tulip bulbs as a token of their appreciation for the role played by Canadian soldiers in the liberation of the Netherlands, as well as sheltering the royal family members during the war. These tulips were planted by the NCC on Parliament Hill and along Queen Elizabeth Driveway. The Kingdom of the Netherlands continues to send 20,000 tulip bulbs every year, a tradition that continues to this day. This royal gift is planted in this Queen Juliana bed every year. In this bed, because it's very close to the roadway, we always plant with early season tulip, just to remind people that spring has arrived and it's time to be prepared to see more tulips. So we have seen the early season tulip beds, and now this is our second bed. Here is the Darwin hybrid tulips. Although tulips, they are all spring blooming flowers, they're divided into 16 different groups and varies blooming time from early, mid to late season tulips. So these mid-season tulips, they are in a Darwin hybrid group. Some of them are more easily affected by the weather, but this one here, the one that you see that's in bloom, is called the Pink Impression. it seems like that it's not affected by the coldness at all, and then they're still in bloom on time. And the yellow one further, now that they look yellow, they're the ivory floridel. When they're in full bloom, they would turn into more ivory color, and they're tall. These two are more of our staple tulips in the park because they are sure performance. The one closer to the front, which is not in bloom yet, is Acropolis. When they're in bloom, probably in a week, a few more days of sunshine, and they would be in rosy pink. Here we see the MidSeason Triumph group tulips. The yellow one at the front is Helmar, and it's yellow with a red flame from the bottom. And as you can see at the back, these are, although they're the same group in the Triumph group, the back three types of tulip are kind of stunned by the coldness. So they're still a little shorter than expected, but as the weather warm up, and then they would be pretty much the same height. And then the one in the middle, Samsonite and Slawa, they're pretty special because you can see that the tulip buds and then the leaves has a tone of gray and bluish color, and the back is Jean Rousse, which is like a more burgundy color when they're in bloom. This year, 2020, marks the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II and the liberation of the Netherlands. We have a joint campaign with the Canadian Tulip Festival, the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, the Royal Canadian Legion, Communities in Bloom, and many partners to celebrate this year with the Liberation 75 tulips. The Dutch royal family repeated their gift of 100,000 tulip bulbs to all Canadians. They were sent to the provinces and territories of Canada last fall. The NCC has also matched the gift and planted 100,000 of the Liberation 75 tulips. 75,000 of them are planted in our parks. Here you see the orange tulips. They are the Liberation 75 tulip. They are a little shy still because of the weather. They're in the same group with the lemony yellow color here. They're called sweethearts, the yellow color. They're both in the Fosteriana group, which is supposed to be early season tulips. So this bed we have a double late tulips. As you can see, they are a mix of different colors instead of a pattern. This bed is an overplanted bed, which is, if we see they have very good performance one year, which was last year, then we think that they're going to come back for the second year. We leave the bulbs in the ground, and then we plant annual flowers on top for summer and autumn. And then in the fall, when we're ready to plant bulbs, we only plant about 25 to 50% of the same types of bulbs, and then we will have it so that we make sure that there will be a full bloom for the next year. So as you can see, some of them are still stunned by the coldness, but they are coming out in a week or so, and they will be in full bloom. And you will see the double late tulip. They also called a peony tulip, so their flower is big and like a peony shape. So you will see the purple colors. The darker purple is the blue diamond, and then the pink color would be, they're not out yet, is the Angelique. The red one is already out. It's one of my favorites. Is the Miranda, and Corolla, which is the light purple one. W is a lavender color. They're still in bud. And Mount Tacoma, which is it would be a cream color. Now you see that is more of a lemony yellow, but it would turn a lighter color as they bloom. Here is the Man with Two Hats statue. The Man with Two Hats monument is a gift to Canada from the Netherlands. A replica of the statue found in the Dutch city of Apeldoorn. The twin statues exemplify the strong ties between the Netherlands and Canada. This monument pays tribute to the crucial role played by Canadian soldiers in the liberation of the Netherlands during the Second World War. This bed we have a mix of different groups of tulips. The Antoinette, which is the bundle tulips that you see there with a bundle of flowers coming up, these are the bouquet tulips. Normally when you look at tulips, most of the tulips are one bulb, one stem, one flower. For the bouquet tulips, one bulb, one stem can grow up to 5 to 9 flowers. They're smaller flowers, but because of how they grow, and they actually look a lot fuller than other tulips. The white one that you can see here in full bloom, they are the Exotic Empire, which is a double petal version of a white empire tulips. The Antoinette tulips, they are very long lasting. The blooming time could be up to 3 weeks. When they start blooming, they're like a rosy red color, as you can see right now, and then they kind of started to lighten. At the end of the second or third weeks, it would turn into a kind of lemony, lemon color with pink stripes coming in at the bottom. So it's very pretty. This bed we have a mix of Sinkhole late tulips. Normally these late season tulips, they are taller and have bigger flowers because they just have more time to grow. In this site in particular, because it's surrounded by trees and a lot of shrubs at the back, we tend to get a lot of wildlife in this area, and sometimes the squirrels would want to just move around the bulbs and kind of change your design a little bit, so it's a little surprise. So we're thinking maybe in a week you will be starting to see the late season tulip to bloom. In this bed we have a tulip marine, which is a white tulips, and Rhapsody of Smile, which is orange and red tulips, and Renown, which is a rosy pink tulips. As they're single late season, so they're about almost 65 to 70 centimeters tall with big flowers. This bed is one of the pilot project that we started in 2012. It's a mixed planting bed with perennials, some grasses, and spring flower bulbs and some fall flower bulbs. And as you can see right now that there are some daffodils are in bloom, as well as the tulips. So the tulips in here are the perennialized tulips that are adapt to our climate, that they come back every year and multiply. So they've been here since 2012, and you see that they look a little scarce, but this is designed intentionally to leave room for the perennials to grow in between. In this circle bed, we have Canada 150 and Suncatcher. The Canada 150 tulip is a project that we started in 2012 to pick a tulip for Canada's 150th birthday. This tulip is white with a red flame coming from the bottom and a yellow base of the flower. It resembled our Canadian flag, our maple leaf flag. The leaves have distinctive white edges, and you can tell from the difference to the tulips in the middle is Suncatcher. It is an orange and red tulip with a yellow flame. It's called Suncatcher because when it's under the sun, you can see that the colors is very vibrant. This bed is, there are 2 different types of lily flower tulips and 1 type of Triumph tulip dynasty. The lily flower tulips are tulips with petals that have pointy edges, so it looks like there's like a star shape. And when they're in bloom, this bed will be in pink and purple and lemon color. The lily flower tulips are Bud Light, which is a lemon color. Purple Dream is the purple color tulips. This is one of our largest beds in Commissioners Park. It's about 584 square meters. We have 4 different patches in here of 8 different tulips. So the colors are yellow, red, pink and maroon. The yellow patches consist of the War of Friendship tulip, a lemony yellow color tulip, golden parade, dark yellow tulips, Bastonge is a red tulip, and red impression. The pink side we have the Mounties mixed with Canada 150. The dark maroon mix are Paul Schurer, Black Parrot, and Queen of Night. These are probably a mid-late season tulip. It will be in full bloom in around the third week of May. This bed has a combination of double late tulips. This is also an overplanted bed, which means that we have some of the bulbs that were left in ground. Well, actually, all the bulbs were left in ground, and then we planted some new ones in the fall. And they're supposed to be double late, but in this season they are not very affected by the coldness, and they are still in bloom. And as you can see, this yellow one here is one of my favorites as well. This is the Acabono, and it's bloom in yellow, and it kind of fade into a creamy color, and they are tall and big at the end of the season. And the red one is the double Guruchnik, which is a red and orange color. And it's very special because they all have the different stripes of colors that are in orange and yellow, and none of the two flowers look the same. And there is, you can see a purple color is a double Shirley, which is a double petal purple tulips. In the front, it's not quite in bloom yet. They're a mix of Dance Line, which is a cream color tulip with raspberry stripes on the top, and a Night Watchman, which is a purple red color, and Angelique, a pink color tulip. This is one of our perennialized tulip beds. In here, these tulip has been here for the past 4 to 5 years. You see this, the orange one is the Princess Irene, and the pink one is Pretty Princess. So they're both in the Sinkhole early group, so they're out in bloom right now. The daffodil here is the Mount Hood, which is a later blooming daffodil. So they actually match with the same time when an early tulip's blooming. We overplanted about 30% last year, and looks like summer is still coming up, and we will have a full bloom in a few days of sunny weather. This is also one of our overplanted beds. In here we have Apricona and also Continental. Apricona is what you see is in full bloom right now. It's a salmon peachy color. Continental is more like a purple color, but they're not in bloom just yet. And they're both in a Triumph group, so it's about mid-season, a little late this year. This is a linear bed that we do most of our testing here for some newer varieties, or something that has left the market for a while and come back to the market again. Then we wanted to test their stability. In this bed, we plant them in sections so that we can evaluate them in springtime. This year we have 11 different types of newer varieties tulips that we're testing. So these 4 planting beds here are our drive-by bed that are closer to the road, the Queen Elizabeth driveway. And they're early season tulips. The ones that in full bloom right now is the Pink Empire. The Empire tulips, this one would actually fade into a lighter pink when they finish blooming. And we have one bed here that is the Monstella, which is a yellow with red flame coming from the bottom. They are double early, so supposedly it should be out in a week or so, and then we see the buds are forming very nicely. Some of the other tulips. Other colors that you see probably are from previous years because these are our perennialized planting beds. Most of these beds have been around for about 5 to 6 years, and we do overplanting every year to make sure we have a full bloom. The third bed is the Liberation 75 tulips add to the existing tulip, which is called the Disneyland Paris. And the last bed is Amazing Grace, which is and also an double early tulips that is pink and orange with dark pink as the backdrop. So it's a really nice tulip as well. This is one of the beds that with mixed bulbs other than just tulips. We have mixed the Muscari and Maniacum, which is a grape hyacinth in the common names, and also with Princess Irene. But over the years we plant different type of perennial tulips on top that would go with the colors. So you see some pink and some of the oranges, which is the Princess Irene. For this bed, it has been around for about 5 to 6 years. In about a week or so, it would be in full bloom. Another thing that why we added the blue in here, because tulip comes in all the color of the rainbows, but then it's just one color that they don't have, because the tulip doesn't have any blue pigment in their genetic makeup. So we sometimes have to use other bulbs to give that color. This is one of the larger beds that we have. It's in the east entrance of Commissioners Park. What you see in bloom right here is a mix of the Van Dyke tulip. It's the Van Dyke, which is the original Van Dyke, is orange, and the rosy color is a Mystic Van Dyke, and also the Lady Van Dyke, the pink color. And on the other combinations in this bed would be there are some double tulips that are one of my favorites are not out yet. It's called the Double Sugar, which is a rosy color and a different shades of pink color double tulips, and it's mixed with Miranda. And the yellow tulips is a Sun Lover and Yellow Pomponette, which is also one of my favorite mixtures. This is the end of our tulip tour. We hope you enjoyed it, and see you again next year.